The following program is for adult audiences only.
Time to open up some whoop ass.
Turn the volume up, they can hear from hell. Everyone's ready, so let's ring the bell. Ding, 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 let's start the clock. HCW, yeah, we're bumping chops.
Welcome back to HCW's Bumping Chops, where the chops hurt and the words mean nothing. I'm your host, Billy Simmons, co-owner of Heartland Championship Wrestling, alongside my good friend and co-host, Bobby Casey.
What's up, everybody? Thanks again for joining us for another episode of Bumping Chops. Episode 23 is this fabulous episode. Never would have guessed we'd be at 23, but we are at 23, and Bumping Chops is proudly presented to you by the Chubby Buddy Studio. So if you like listening to Bumping Chops, hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Go ahead and follow the Chubby Buddy Studio on Facebook, Instagram, and all the other socials.
And to get the latest information about HCW, follow us on hcwlive 23 on all social platforms. That is hcwlive 23. Bobby, how's your day going?
It's going great.
You ready?
I'm ready. We've got a pretty packed episode. We actually have a really cool Today in Wrestling History today, I think.
Why don't you give us that Today in Wrestling History?
Well, Today in Wrestling History, which is May 26th of 2012, Lance Storm defeated the prodigy Mike Bennett with Brutal Bob Evans.
Speaking of Brutal Bob Evans, let's get into that. Today, we have a special guest, a mentor of my own, a good friend, a true legend in the house. Our guest is a man who has seen and done just about everything in the world of professional wrestling, from training some of the brightest stars in the business to competing in the grueling challenges like his unforgettable Iron Week. He's a mentor, a storyteller, and an all-around tough guy with a heart for the business. You know him from his incredible journey through Ring of Honor, his dedication to the craft, and his passion for helping the next generation of wrestlers find their path. Please welcome to the podcast, my friend, the one and only Brutal Bob Evans.
Hey, Billy, how are you, man?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good. Bubba, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard so many things about you, but never saw anything yet.
I thought we were going to be friends, but now you have to bring up the fact that Lance Storm cheated to you. Now, if you've ever seen that match, now I may have slid the chair in for Mike, but I just wanted him to have a seat because he looked tired during his match. And then that dirty, filthy Lance Storm grabbed it, and with a hometown ref, Jimmy Corderas, in Toronto, he slammed it over the back of Mike Bennett and then super kicked him into next week and cheated. And that's a bad memory, and I'm upset, and you upset me greatly.
I would have never guessed you would have. He's the one that told me to do it too. I was like, man, I don't have enough evidence of this.
And now you're throwing.
So you're welcome.
Now you're throwing him under the bus. Throwing him under the bus. That's very good. Good job.
I do my best. He does it to me all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, he does that sometimes.
So, Unc, how you doing, sir? Working like normal. I think you are always on the grind.
Yeah. Yep.
You got some cool things going on.
Yeah, I'm.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, as we tape this, I'm headed to work, and then going to drive around, run my courier business for a while, and then I'm going to head out, leaving very early tomorrow morning to fly to Vancouver, Canada, and do 3 days there for Vancouver Island Pro Wrestling. And then right after I come back, a quick Memorial Day celebration. And then on Tuesday, we have two big things coming up. We have the start of my promoter class, my 8-week promoter class, May 27th, Tuesday, prowrestlingclass.com. And if you're struggling at all as a promoter, you want to take this class, because most people that take the class, they do very, very well. Billy has not taken the official class, but I've been teaching him for years. And he pretty much tripled his crowd in a short amount of time, because he did his stuff, did my stuff, and put it together. And it was very successful for him. It continues to be. And then we also announced, Kevin Kelly and I also announced the name of our promotion in Pennsylvania, the name and a few other people we're going to be using to debut August 9th in Carlisle, Pennsylvania at the Carlisle Expo Center building. So it's going to be very, very exciting. So looking forward to a great weekend and then coming back and having a great week next week. So,
man, that's awesome. That's huge. Like I said, always on the grind. You've mentored me for years. We'll give a little backside to how we met. I seen Uncle Bob was going to a company in Kansas City that I'm good friends with called KCXW, and they were doing a big seminar and stuff, and I was just taking over for XWE running their training, and I needed help. I hadn't done a lot of training and been wrestling for a while, but was coming off a bad injury and time away, so really rusty, really green, and I reached out and kind of refused to let the man tell me no.
yeah, that's exactly what happened.
And then after that, man, we kind of been friends since. Brought him in a few times. He's done some cool stuff for me and's always mentored me since we met.
Well, why don't we start with some course questions about your courses coming up? That way you can finish highlighting that, and then we'll get right into the fan-submitted questions. How's that sound?
Sure. However you want to do it.
Why don't we kind of go down the run of like what you plan on doing with this course? That way people who are listening who are promoters that want to come onto the course or want to reach out, kind of give us the rundown of that. Exactly.
Sure. Well, we bring it right back to the basics. We go soup to nuts. We start from an assessment of where you are as a promoter, because I think we need to know that. We do, we have them fill out a questionnaire, find out what area they're in, what they're drawing, what kind of customer they're looking for, what kind of show they run, what kind of talent they use, what their budget is, what their demographics are, and what their marketing budget is. And then once we figure that out, we can start putting together a really nice assessment of where they are and what they want to be. A lot of what I see out there in wrestling is that there's people that want to run wrestling shows, but they don't know exactly who their customer is, what they want to be, what kind of shows they want to run, what kind of business. They don't have any goals for themselves. They just kind of want to put up some posters and run a show and wrestle their friends. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to have a little bit more of a plan. So once we get that in, now we start laying the groundwork. We start building a blueprint for them. So I'm going to divide it into 4 classes with a week in between. So it'll be 8 weeks, but it'll be 4 classes. And we give you an assignment, give you some homework, and give you 2 weeks to work on it with some accountability along the way. And you can message me, follow up with me, and ask me what we're doing. But first, we're going to start with the assessment, obviously. And they're going to come up with a budget. They're going to come up with a projected profit and loss statement. All the fun stuff, right? All the boring stuff. And then they're going to come up with, a plan. And, like I said, it's a lot to get into right here, but we come up with, we help them flesh out a full marketing plan, help them flesh out a full sponsor plan, how to get sponsors, how to become a bigger part of the community, how to make more money inside the building, how to raise your ticket prices. Most promoters, including Billy, when I met him, weren't charging enough money for what they did. So I get them to raise their prices. And, it sounds funny, but we offer a really, really cool form of entertainment. And people don't realize that. They think that we're wrestling fans, so a wrestling show isn't that special to us. And we're wrestlers, so it's really not that special to us sometimes. But a wrestling show could be the coolest. It's probably going to be the coolest thing in town that day. So you have to kind of price yourself, not crazy, but you can price yourself competitively with community theater, minor league baseball, the movie theater, that kind of stuff. And then again, we teach you to get sponsors, teach you how to reach out to businesses, teach you how to communicate with talent, teach you how to get talent, teach you how to pay them better, get them better paid, get yourself better paid. 90% of the promoters I work with don't pay themselves. And that's a crime. That's a crime. I don't want to see that. I want to see everybody making money. And look, I'm a realist. I realize that once we start, we're going to start with probably stopping the bleeding. We're going to start with promoters. We're going to stop the promoters from losing money. That's the first thing we do. The second thing we do is we get them to break even and get them to make a little money. Then the third thing we do is to get them to make more money and teach them a plan how they can increase their scalability, so to speak. You know, how they can grow. Because some of these people I talk to, they run buildings with that hold 125 people. Unless you charge $100 a ticket, how are you supposed to make any money? And you can't charge, I want people to charge fair ticket prices, but $100 a ticket is really kind of steep. So you have to find a building that's a little bit bigger, something that kind of fits the market. I like between 300 and 500 people myself. So that's basically what we teach them. And then we give them a plan, make sure they write out their own plan. You're going to write your own plan out. I'm not going to write it for you. I'll give you an outline, but you're going to have to fill in the blanks. And then that should be a pretty good map for them to take off and grow their promotion.
Yeah, and some like you said earlier, I haven't done the course itself, but I've been around you, and you've been my mentor for at least 10 years, and you've helped me grow both XWE when I was there and now HCW. There's some things you've told me that I've put in place. I didn't ever want to raise my ticket sales. I think I fought you on that for years.
Yep.
And then when I did, my Wichita crowd cheered me because they understood, and it made me feel good because I know they support us and their understanding of why we raised the price a little bit. And then this new thing you taught me about going to businesses with a flyer and a couple comp tickets has been working tremendously. So just a little testament on my side before you get into the big marketing class and promoter class with Bob, that he definitely knows what he's talking about. It's definitely going to be worth your money. It's going to help you tremendously.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
For sure.
I have a quick question about that. I asked Billy a while back on the episode that we did by ourselves, kind of where he kind of gave a solo episode about his bring up and where he is now in wrestling. With you on that side, what do you see to be a common, mistake that promoters are making when you do that assessment that you were talking about?
First of all, they don't realize all the resources they have around them. They say, nobody wants to help me. Nobody wants to go out and do this with me. And I disagree with that most of the time. Most of the time, there's all kinds of rain around here. It's pouring rain. Sorry about that. I'm making noise.
You're good.
They don't look at all the resources they have around them. They have sponsors all around them. They have people to help them put out posters. When I ran shows, and this is years ago, and I told Billy this story, and Billy is one of these people that really cares about the folks that he mentors and he coaches. And he has a lot of loyal people. And he goes, well, I don't want to bug people on a Saturday morning and all that. I said, look, man, it doesn't have to be drudgery. I said, you go to Wichita with 2 cars of 3 people in it. You don't even, put 2 or 3 people in your car. You just have to drive around and point, and you don't even have to get out of the car if your knee's bugging you. I know you got bad knees. And you just say, do this place, do this place, do this place. And then on the other side of the street, you say, hey, go do this strip of the main street, and the other team do the other strip of Main Street. And you just send them in different directions, and you kind of direct them as you go. And after 2 hours, you have 150 posters put up. You've served 100, 150 businesses. You take a quick picture of the outside. You share it on Facebook. Thank you so much for helping us spread the word on HCW coming to town. And all those shares and all those Facebook posts and Instagram posts, those businesses are going to get a kick out of the wrestlers walking around town and putting up posters and sharing their business. And after that, you just go to lunch at one of the places that was nice to you, or the place you buy pizza from or sandwiches from, and you just support a business in town. And it ends up being a very pleasant morning, and everybody's done by 12, 1 o'clock. They can go to their booking. They can go spend time with their family. It doesn't have to be drudgery and miserable, and I'm out here by myself. You make it a team game, and you make it a good time. And if you don't have necessarily wrestlers around to help you, you can have your kids help you. My son helps me promote. He loves it, and he does better than anyone. He's the best guy I've ever seen a poster. They never say no to him, you know. So he goes out and he does it, and he got our attendance up 10% in our town, because he went out and he put up 20, 30 posters in an area that we don't advertise in. And sometimes that's all it takes. And we just go 10 minutes out of the house, and we're out there for half an hour, and we come back in. We've already done 30, 40 posters for the day. If you have, it's an effort thing, Billy. It really is. And Bubba, it really is. You're going to have to do 3 times as much as you thought you would have to do. And if you can leverage people as resources and say, hey, I'll buy everybody pizza, I'll buy everybody sandwiches, I'll buy everybody burgers at McDonald's, whatever, and just help me for a couple hours, and it'll be a good team building thing, and it doesn't have to be miserable, and you can get a lot done. But you're going to have to realize that you're going to have to do 2 or 3 times as much. You're going to have to spend 2 or 3 times as much money. I see most people not doing enough of the hard stuff. I call it the hard stuff or the boring stuff. Ask somebody if they set up a budget. 9 out of 10 promoters will say no. Oh, I have it in my head. I have it in my head. You don't have it in your head. Write it down. Put it on a spreadsheet. At least write it on a yellow pad. Do something. Show me that you've prepared. What's your advertising budget? Oh, we spend $50 on Facebook ads. I said, I know promoters that spend $5,000 on Facebook ads. Now, I don't think you have to spend that much, but you have to spend more than 50, and you have to know where you're putting that money in. If you have to spend a couple $100, you have to target it. If it's a family show, you got to target it at families that go to shows and go to entertainment shows, not just wrestling shows. You don't want wrestling. You don't want just wrestling fans, because 90% of WWE fans, maybe even 95% of WWE fans, will not go to an independent show. So if you market to WWE fans, you're just marketing to 5% of that audience. But if you market to people who go out and do something once a year, a couple times a year, the minor league ball game or community theater, or, hey, I saw this was in town and the High School Musical is in town. They're doing Willy Wonka. That's what my kids did last week. And we went to support the school. My daughter helped hand out programs, and my son was the doorman and a black shirt that's set up and torn out. And they weren't in the play, but we still went. And guess what? The tickets were $20 a piece, and we paid it. So we'll go to the high school theater for, a couple more years when Katie's still in school. After that, we probably won't go, but you never know. There might be a grandson. There might be a friend of a friend. People will go to wrestling once or twice a year, but that's the crowd you want. You want that mainstream crowd. If you just market to just wrestling fans that go to independent shows, you've cut off a ton of people, and you've micro-marketed to the point where you don't have an audience to speak to, because your audience is too small. You have to go to and you also have to be a huge part of the community. You have to reach out, and it's what I told Billy to do. Billy's a big, gregarious guy who makes friends with everyone where he goes. Not afraid to talk to people. Got a nice smile. Good-looking guy. Walks in, 6'3", 6'4", big guy. He's gonna make a presentation when he walks in. Well, he looks like a wrestler. Hey, I'm Billy Simmons, and I'm a wrestler, and come see the cool show, and it's fun for the kids, and people will dig it, and you'll really enjoy yourself. And a big friendly guy like that saying that makes a big impression on me, rather than, hey, can I put up a poster, and you throw up a poster and leave. And it also creates a relationship for a future sponsorship down the line. You have to build relationships with businesses because you're trying to raise, Wichita, like everywhere else, probably has businesses that are on their ass. So let's lift each other up, and let's become small businesses that join together and kick ass together. Let's build each other up. If you can get me a few more people to go to my wrestling show, and I can get a few more people to go to your restaurant, we both win. There's nothing wrong with that. We all act in harmony together, and it's a good way to build up. It's a good way to build up a downtown area.
Well, with that, man, I think you hit hit the nail on the head with a Facebook post. You said that you hate wrestling when it's real, but love it when it's fake. I think that's the verbiage that you used. I know
yes.
you probably meant way more than just this part of it.
You take that any way you want.
I know you meant it by different things, but you sort of also added it. I mean, without consciously doing it, you probably did the same thing, just like this right here. The boring stuff you don't want to do.
Right, and that's the thing. In every business, this isn't wrestling stuff. The biggest crime that the generation before us committed, and they didn't even do it on purpose, right? We've heard about Billy's talked to me about some of the abuses that some of the Kansas independent wrestlers did in the scene, and it's disgusting. We've had issues like that in Massachusetts. We've had issues like that all over the country, just people beating each other up and worse, right? Stuff with women, stuff with kids, right? We've heard the whole thing. But the crime they don't talk about, and this is not a crime, but it's an injustice. When they told us that wrestling is different from every other business. And I was told that 100 times when I was growing up, when I was growing up in the wrestling industry. I started at 19 and I'm 52 now. Oh, Bob, wrestling is so different. It's not different. It's the same. Market it the same way. You pay attention. You provide awesome customer service. You tell everybody you know about your business. You say, check out this cool thing. You let them sample it. If they're not sure, you let them sample it for free. You sell them something when they get there, and you hope they come back and tell their friends. And if they don't come back right away, you find out why they didn't come back, and then you fix the thing that didn't get them to come back so they come back next time. And you just repeat. That's it. That's your entire business plan right there. Well,
I'm going to ask you one more question about this course, and then we can move on to the fan-submitted questions.
Sure.
If a promoter could take any of your principles from your class, if they take it, what's the one thing that you hope they take the most?
The fact that it doesn't stop, and when it's getting hard, that's when you know it's working. And realize that you're probably on the right track if you're working hard on the right thing. If you're marketing your product, if you have good talent, if you put on a good show with good production, if you have a show that's a reasonable length and the fans are thrilled and they love it and they tell their friends about it, you're on the right track. It might just be a simple thing of doing more, marketing more, and realize that there's so many ways that you can market other than social media. Social media is awesome. I'm an influencer. I'm all about social media. But I'm also all about direct mail, mailing postcards to people, email marketing, going out and shaking hands with everybody, showing up to the craft fair and passing out 200 flyers to all the old ladies that are there because their grandkids might like wrestling. I'm a big fan of all of it. Going to the big local event in town and setting up a ring and passing out flyers and making a spectacle of yourself, putting on a little show there, figuring out ways you can do it, but keep doing it. The creativity isn't just who's going to win the belt and shooting an angle and this guy's going to run in on this guy and beat him up and cost him the match. That's creative. But the creative is also, how are we going to market this? Look at all the minor league baseball teams that succeed. Look at the Savannah Bananas. 81,000 people in Clemson a couple weeks ago. $2.5 million. $2.5 million in merchandise in one day. They did 1.2 million at Fenway when they were there. Sold out with a waiting list of 10,000 people. How are they doing it? They had no advantages when they started. They had zero advantages. Their stadium.
No, that's a company that started from the ground up 12 times.
Right. And by the way, Jesse failed the first time he tried it. He grew up an hour away from me. He was a college baseball player He was a Division II college baseball player. He was literally 2 steps away from the minor leagues. And he was bored to death in his own game. And he said, if I'm bored, I can't imagine how the fans are. And he wanted to find a way that baseball could be fun and enjoyed by families and also be 2 hours and this big, crazy carnival and then get in and get out. And that's what he created. And he did such a good job with it that Major League Baseball had to look at the times of their games. And when they put a timer on the games were 25 minutes shorter. And guess what? Attendance went up 30%. And they didn't lower their prices. So it all kind of, you have to figure out what's not working and you have to fix it. They're called pain points. You have to fix the pain point. What's not working? Why aren't we drawing? It's not because your champion is a lousy wrestler. They all think we're lousy wrestlers because we're not on TV. We have to prove to them that we're not once they get to the building. They think we're a bunch of hacks until they see us. And then they know we're not. But first impressions, they don't know who we are. I don't know who this guy is. He must not be any good because he's not in the ring with Roman Reigns on TV. So he must be lousy. And then you go and you realize that, no, they're good. They're kind of like minor league wrestling. And they're very skilled, very professional, but they just haven't gotten a break, or the guy has a good regular job, or he's, that's not his goal, or whatever. And it can still be very high quality wrestling, but you got to let people know about it. And I swear, most promoters are scared to death to let people know they have a wrestling show in town. They want to promote on Facebook and hide behind Facebook, but I want them to go out and yell and scream about it.
And again, that show is the day after this episode actually drops, which is May 27th. And they can get information from your Facebook page and also visiting prowrestlingclass.com. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, why don't we get into some fan submitted questions, unless you had some more questions about the
that's
class.
good.
Well, I got 2 from a gentleman named Mason that he submitted. His first one was, what's the biggest change you have seen in wrestling since you started? I know you said that it's still the same, but obviously there are a few changes.
The biggest change is, let's see, a few. A lot of the lingo has changed. Obviously, a lot of people, more people know about the lingo. That changed. I think some of the locker room protocol has changed, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's changed. A little more freewheeling. And let's see, what else? I think people are nicer now. I think they were a little meaner back then. I don't know if I ever answered it. I tried.
I know I heard the lingo one, but I didn't hear that you said there was a few, and then that's where you started going in and out. But I didn't know if you had more that you were talking.
Yeah, I'll answer it real quick. So the lingo has changed to a degree. I think it's a little more freewheeling, and I think things have changed on that end. And I also think that people are nice. I think a lot of the guys and girls are nicer now. I think people try to really help more, and I think that's what I like the best about it, is that things are a lot nicer and people are trying to help. So that's cool.
Yeah. Now his second one was, if you were trying to get somebody who has never watched wrestling into wrestling, what matches would you show them?
Probably Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper, Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat, Austin and Rock, or Austin and Bret Hart, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and the Cody Rhodes story the last 2 years.
Yeah. And I think this is actually a fan from your side, Cindy Hart. She submits.
Cindy Hart was one of the promoters in my class, my last class. Actually, she's doing great. She's in Connecticut. Yeah, she's doing awesome. Yeah. Just got engaged too. So congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Yes. Oh, that's
but
fine.
what has been your most successful strategy as a promoter?
My most successful strategy is going to meet businesses and becoming a bigger part of the community. That's been by far my most successful strategy. and changing it to just a mainstream family wrestling business and making my audience bigger so I could draw better.
Awesome. Chase Fishel asks, do you have any tips for mentoring younger talent for success outside of the ring, like social media, work and life balance, being a successful adult?
Yeah, don't quit your job to run away to the circus. So don't run away, and don't quit everything to go get a $25 payday in wrestling. Nothing wrong with a $25 payday in wrestling, but get a better payday at work. Make sure you have health insurance. Make sure you have a plan B, the 401k and all that. If you wrestle for a good old fun time, that's fine with me, because that's, there's nothing wrong with that, Yep. I'm going to try to switch to Wi-Fi here. This should be awful.
Right now, you're crisp and clear. This is the best.
Awesome. I'm right outside of Dunkin' Donuts, so they usually have Wi-Fi even when they're closed. So, there we go. Yep, there it is. Connect to the internet. So this should be better. Can actually be visual here for a second.
Ooh.
Yeah. The visual representation. We'll see. So we're good? You can hear me okay?
Perfect.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
So as far as mentoring, work-life balance, no such thing. There's going to be times when you're going to have to work really, really hard at your job or at wrestling or whatnot. There are seasons you go through. And this is all kind of like Alex Hormozy stuff. I think anyone in wrestling or anyone in business should be following him. Hormozi. He looks like a wrestler. He's big and strong, got a beard, big weightlifter guy. And he's worth $100 million. So he knows his stuff way better than I do, but he talks about seasons and how work-life balance is kind of a myth. And it really is. Don't miss the important stuff. Be there for the important stuff, but also, I don't think there's anything wrong with instilling in your children the fact that sometimes dad has to work, sometimes mom has to work. We do this because we're trying to support the family and live a better life. So don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Now, if you're going to just drop everything and ignore your family to go wrestle on the weekends with no end in sight, I don't recommend that. Have a plan. Sit down with your spouse or your partner or whoever you're going to deal with and lay it out for them. And say, this is the plan. This is what I want to try to do in the next year. And you'll get a lot more support if you're not keeping secrets, because sometimes they think it's just grab ass Sunday softball. And if you treat it like that, then that's what they're going to think it is. But if you have a business in mind and you're like, hey, I come home with a couple $100 and that pays the light bill, that pays the heat bill, whatever. Now it's a productive thing. And now wrestling blesses you. And it's just part of it's another side job you do. Or maybe it's a main job. I don't know. But, that's with work-life balance, that's a thing. And mentoring young people, just have a lot of patience and realize that they don't know what you know and don't hold it above them. One of the things I hate at seminars is when an older guy asks a question and the person doesn't know and they're trying to trap them and go, you don't know that? Oh, I can't believe you don't know that. Well, yeah, dummy. That's why they're here. That's why they don't know that. They're here to be taught by you. So you can't hold it over their head when they don't have the same information you have. Just like they shouldn't be holding it over your head when they have information you have about whatever, they're into. So again, patience is huge. Don't be afraid to kind of get on them a little bit. Don't yell and scream at them every second of every day, because that's, it's going to go in one ear and out the other, but it's okay to raise your tone once in a while to show you care. But that's, rare.
All right. So we have a few from Johnny Faith, HCW's Johnny Faith. I'm not going to ask the third one. What's that?
I said Johnny Faith.
Johnny Faith. He had a question about how important networking is, but I think you touched base on that pretty well, like in the very beginning about talking about
very
your course.
important.
So I think
very important. Yeah. Go out there and meet people. And actually, the podcast that Kevin Kelly and I put out, Bob and Kevin Almost Live, we talk a lot about networking and how to break through all the noise. I think it's the best podcast we've ever done. So that'll be out hopefully by the time you guys go to Real Brutal Bob Evans on YouTube, and it'll be there. I'll be on Facebook or something. We'll share it. We share it on all social media. So,
all right. Now, what are some of the do's? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
So what are some of the do's and don'ts when contacting a promoter or a booker?
do follow up. This is actually in our podcast. So do follow up. Do ask them about themselves. Ask them 3 or 4 questions about themselves and their business before you ever ask for bookings. Do volunteer to come help set up if that's what they do. Some people don't do that. So, and don't think that's going to automatically get you a job or a spot, because it's not. Do help to find them somebody if they're missing certain wrestlers. Hey, I know this cool luchador. I know this cool barbarian looking guy. That would be awesome for your show. And, check it out. I got another 7-foot guy that could wrestle your 7-foot guy, whatever it is. I got a few women wrestlers that are very talented, and it looked like your, woman wrestler looked like she didn't have a match because she was by herself wrestling a guy. So, I can offer you some on that end too. So always reach out in service to the promoter, because they don't need you. They already have wrestlers on their show. They don't need you. So realize that you're going to be, it's going to take you a while to break through that noise. And again, ask 4 or 5 questions about them. Don't even think about asking for work yet, because you haven't earned it. And then earn a spot once you get there. Do everything you can. If you have a car, get ready to pick somebody up from the airport. Get ready to, go find, a couple people are stranded with a flat tire. AAA is going to tow it to the mechanic, but they still need a ride to the show. You can pick them up at the show. Make yourself of use. If you're a chiropractor, buddy of mine is a chiropractor. I said, go offer 5-minute free adjustments to all the boys, or do it for a tip. Jared Fritz, the NWA ref, makes more money in tips when he brings his massage table than he does in NWA payoffs. And he gets paid pretty well in NWA. But, when you're making $50 and then you work on 10, 15 people for a massage table and they throw you 10, $20, it adds up really quick. And you're really kind of just, that degree in massage therapy you got, you're actually just kind of putting it to work. So figure out ways you can serve the company. If it's just wrestling, then it's just wrestling. I'm a great graphic designer. I can help put up posters. I can edit videos. I can sing a song, whatever, use it. I can't do anything about editing, but I have really good concepts, and I can come up with a cool concept for this video, whatever. Just make yourself a very, very busy. And as far as don'ts, don't ever expect to work the first time. Don't bitch if you don't work the first time. Don't badmouth anybody. Make sure this is going to sound weird. Don't not introduce yourself to everybody, because you'll probably blow off the promoter's wife or the daughter or the brother-in-law or the nephew or whatever. And they're the ones that are going to go back and say, this guy was mean to me. He wasn't very nice to me. And that's pretty much, wives can get people booked and unbooked really quick when they go, they're nice, book them, or they're not nice, don't book them. So, and plus you should just be doing that anyway. And really, that's it. And don't, if you say you're going to be there at 2 to help, don't show up at 6. You might as well not show up at all. Tell him you died in a car accident and you'll see him next month, because that's the only way. Don't show up at 6, because it's way worse.
Well, Unc, we're getting short on time. I know you got to get off here pretty quick. Want to touch base on you coming and making your debut for Heartland Championship Wrestling Saturday, October 25th. You and Kevin Kelly, who I've never got to meet in person.
Yep.
I'm super excited to have y'all both in. Got a huge seminar that day. Reserve your spots. Let's get that thing packed. And then a huge show that night for HCW. I'm super excited to get you back. It's been a couple years since I've got to see you face to face. So I'm glad we get this opportunity to get you back down.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And we first set it up, and then I realized I was already booked for that date, and it got all screwed up. But then on my part, not yours. And then, but this date's going to work out better. I know October is one of your biggest shows of the year, so that's a good show to be on. And I've been on that show twice, I think, and I've really enjoyed it. I think Tim and I won the tag team titles on that show, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
if
when
not,
I was running XWE, yeah.
Yep, when you were running XWE in Salina. So that was one of 2 sets of tag team titles that we won and never defended. We ended up just mailing those back to you. The other ones we lost in Canada, but we never defended them, aside from the fact that we were supposed to, and we just never did because of COVID. So But no, that was great. Great times. Very excited to be back. And with Tim taking a step back and getting a new job that takes him away from the wrestling business for a while, it's I'm back on my own again. So back in singles competition. So it should be fun. Really looking forward to it. I know you'll have a good match for me, a good matchup. And Kevin's excited to finally meet you. He's heard so much about you and how much progress and how much you've done to lift up the Kansas wrestling scene. And I want to see all your good work. So let's double down and let's get a lot of people there and really show them what Kansas wrestling is all about. So
100% agree with you.
Well, it's
Yes,
been
sir.
an honor to meet you finally, Bob. But I think that since you have to cut out here, how about you finish off by shouting out your socials and stuff like that? Anything else you want to shout out? And then leave by answering this last Phantom Minute question since they took
Sure.
the time. Just finish off with the top 5 things you think somebody should know before debuting in pro wrestling. And that was submitted by Angel De Paz.
All right, good old Angel De Paz. I know them very well. So first of all, at Brutal Bob Evans on everything but YouTube, which is Real Brutal Bob Evans. For some reason, I couldn't get at Brutal Bob Evans on YouTube, but I got Real Brutal Bob Evans. And you can, I'm more of a Facebook guy. You can reach out to me there, or Twitter or Instagram. Message me anywhere. My messages are wide open. Feel free to hit me up if you have any questions. And then prowrestlingclass.com. The promoter class starts Tuesday. And then let's see, the 5 things you need to know. You have to be in shape. You have to find a good wrestling school. You have to realize that there's going to be anxiety and you're going to have to break through that. Realize that you're going to have to travel, and realize that it's going to be harder than you think it is. And that doesn't mean you're going to get beat up. It's just, even though you think wrestling is exposed and whatever this Netflix special is where Triple H is going to tell you everything about wrestling, it's going to be an illusion. They're going to pretend to tell you everything about wrestling, and you're going to learn about 5% more than you do. And then when you get in, you're still going to have a whole bunch of stuff to learn. So that's it. Body, mind, athleticism. Realize it's going to be, you're going to have to break through some anxiety and realize it's going to be tough, but you can do it. So that's it. And behave yourself once you get in.
Yeah. Well, Uncle, I appreciate you, man. And you have officially been chopped with Bumping Chops. Love you, brother. You have a good, safe day.
Love you guys too. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Now that I think we can finish up, and that way you can talk about the last part of it since he's not on. We got plenty of time, and you can just finish off with those last few shows that you got coming up.
Okay, cool.
You said you wanted to say that you had something big to announce in June, right?
Yeah, so I want everybody to keep an eye on our Facebook, on all of our social medias. June, let me get the exact date. June 16th, we have a huge announcement for Heartland Championship Wrestling. Something that I feel is a game changer, and a cool, awesome opportunity for us as a company and as a group. And then, of course, you all know we've got a few shows coming up. Our return to Wichita with River City on June 14th. And then where we see the in-ring return of the illustrious Rey Leon versus Hector De Oro. And then we return to Salina, Kansas, June 21st at Sky Trampoline. It's actually the new venue Sky Trampoline opened that's right behind them, called the Back Alley. And you can still get there through Sky if you need to, but if you go around the back side, there's an entrance called the Back Alley. That is the actual venue. And we will be there June 21st for our homecoming and our first ever Heartland Championship Wrestling coming to Salina, Kansas.
And then if somebody wants to get in touch with you about professional wrestling or going to a course, they open up all the time. Is that right?
Yeah. So if you're interested in professional wrestling, hit us up at the Bears Den. We run training on Wednesdays. You can hit me up on Facebook. You can send me a text message. Don't try to call. I'm probably can't answer, but send a text so I can answer when I'm available. I'm super busy, so text or messages is always the best route. And then we'll line you up and get you going, get you involved in this wrestling business. It's so fun and crazy. And I've got 2 new students that just started. So if you're wanting to jump in, now's the perfect opportunity. You're not too far behind. So let's get some more people in there and keep growing this thing.
And make sure you guys are also following. Oh, my bad. Make sure you guys are also following HCW on all the socials before you guys leave. I think that's going to keep you guys up with that big announcement that you have coming up in June.
Correct. And those socials are hcwlive 23 on all social platforms.
And then I guess let's thank Bob Evans for coming on here. He's a busy man.
He is a very busy man. And Bob, I know Bob stays super go. But when I messaged him, he didn't hesitate to say yes. I very grateful for the man. And can't wait to see him face to face and meet Kevin Kelly. Super excited about it.
So, anything else you want to touch base on before we call this an episode? This is our shortest episode by record, I think. So, but I mean, we got to have Bob on again, I think, to finish up some of those questions that we had, and then have some more people submit some more. How's that?
Yeah, we can see what we do at some point. You know, maybe we get closer to the seminar here in Kansas. We throw Bob on again to really push that and kind of get that going. But yeah, Bobby. So does that mean, since I already chopped Uncle Bob, does that mean I get to chop you?
I guess I got chopped by a vet in professional wrestling. 2 vets.
Ooh.
I mean, and I refuse to get red bellied, and I've never been chopped. So I think I'm good.
No, it's all right.
I fight back.
Well, guys, we appreciate your time. Take it easy. Follow us on all those socials. And y'all have officially been chopped with Bumping Chops.
Later.
Peace.
Here's in the ring, we've nowhere to go. Blood, sweat, and tears. It's a battle of the wills. We bring the heart to the heartland. Heart to the